Sharks. Hello. I know. I've been consumed the last couple of months. I haven't given you a ton of content. I apologize for that. Consider this the start of me bringing you more content on a more regular basis. That will be happening. I really appreciate all the feedback I've gotten, all of the responses that I've gotten to the way I've tried to present this content arm, and rest assured there will be more of that. We will be doing more gamification, more editorials, more strategy, more details, more opinion, more perspective, more everything. More everything. Biggest Shark will be back. And yeah, I'll tell you, if there's one thing I've learned from Top Shot, it's don't overpromise, but do promise something to look forward to. And when you name a specific timeline, if you can name a specific timeline, deliver on that timeline. Like, I'm by the highway right now. Deliver on that timeline, no bones about it. You know, push everything else aside to make sure that that thing is the thing you deliver on. Even if the later things come later, you know. And don't bite off more than you can chew. I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know what that slack is like, you know? We don't know what goes on in the Dapper Wars. You know, I certainly don't. You know, it's convoluted. As an outsider, we've always been like, what do we expect? You know, what can we expect from these guys? They make it seem like they've got X and Y, and then, you know, it's good that they're transparent, but it's like, you know, well then. Anyway, so I'm not going to overpromise, and when I give you a clear timetable on something, I will deliver. When I give you a vague timetable, like I said, the giveaway that'll happen after the Drew Holiday MG Elite Challenge, that is a very vague timeline. That could happen in 40 years. But as long as it happens after, I'm good. I'm covered. So, but that will happen. I do have something for that, finally, that I've sort of decided on. Yeah, that'll coincide with some other things. So stay tuned for that. Follow on Twitter if you haven't, at TopShotShark. Please do. Anyway, I wanted to jump into this. There's been some good debate, some good banter going on about the kind of personality, media personalities, athlete personality to exemplify Top Shot, to be about it, to be the face. We've tried a bunch of different people: Tyler Hero, Jalen Green, KD, Dwayne Wade, people like that. Magic, even to an extent. I mean, Magic, I think, is maybe the most logical choice out of any of them, but I mean, his time is so precious that we got what we got, and we can only really expect that. I mean, for him to engage with Top Shot on a regular basis, I think it's just asking too much. Magic is the owner's box, so I can't expect too much from him on the day-to-day side with Top Shot. But he gave us what he gave us, and it was beautiful, you know. But he got it, he loved it, or at least he liked it, he appreciated it. He said Top Shot was the company he wanted to do it with. Very, very encouraging, but, you know. So what we have coming up here is interesting. It's interesting because, I mean, I was talking to AG last night, right? The nefarious, curious AG. What am I listening to? Okay. Scooter on the back is right by. All right. I didn't know scooters had horns. Isn't that interesting? So I was talking to AG last night, right? And AG was going on about, they got to drop all the S1s now. They just got to drop them off. Little short-term pain for a long-term gain, or something like that. You know, you got to drop them now. You know, you can't let the new users have the S1s. And I'm like, okay, first of all, just as a question, why not? You know, and second of all, doesn't that just continually undercut the people who have S1s in a market that is not totally back? You know, in a market that is not by any means super healthy yet. You know, it's kind of just people who've been liquidating, able to liquidate, and team checklists have been the bulk of the demand, I would say, thus far. Team checklists and people who are finally being able to consolidate some things. But if Top Shot is back, I certainly don't know about it. So, but AG was saying that, and I was like, dude, man, like, this is such a complicated issue, because on the one hand, you want to have something to feed the new users. You want to give them sort of an entry-level, you know, low-risk, high-reward value proposition. But at the same time, I do want to do something to make it felt that, you know, we've all sort of made sacrifices, and we deserve to sort of be rewarded if we've stuck through. The ones who left, they left. They got out with what they expected to get out with. Like they took their value proposition as it was, and they're out. And they got what they got out of it. And that's good enough for them, you know? Some people have locked their old stuff. I certainly have. no shame in doing that, especially if you can get something for it. Yeah, this whole thing of like, what do we expect going forward? I mean, all day is coming on hard, coming on strong. I don't think they have the infrastructure that we have. I don't think they have close to it, actually. They don't have a locker room. They don't have collector score or Top Shot score. They don't have the things that would keep certain things that are valuable in place. Some people would say that it's possibly a good thing that they don't have collector score or Top Shot score. I would not say that. I would not say that because it's going to be very interesting when they start to try to gate drops. Or if they don't try to gate drops, actually. If they don't try to gate drops, then I honestly don't know what comes of it, because, part of the problem with engagement is that packs are the most engaging thing on Top Shot, and you have to be able to deliver them consistently, but not in abundance, but to people who have earned it. Like if you're, the old days, I used to not be able to get a rare pack, and this was with collector score, for 8 months to a year, and that stunk in the beginning. I think I went at least 6 to 9 months without any sort of rare pack. Didn't give me the ability to capitalize on that. As I started to get priority queues, that's when I actually, but those were gated by collector score, that's when I actually started to get some really good value propositions, That was great. That was a lot of fun. And I know a lot of people were feeling like, how do I get a rare pack? How do I get a legendary pack? And so Top Shot's answer was max packs, and that worked miserably. So there was a balancing act. And there's some justice to, we'll do a little bit of supply and let the randomizer determine who gets the packs. But there's also not nearly as much fun, and you might lose people on an engagement level if all they're doing is buying common packs. Now there's also, there's the blended thing, but realistically we know that everyone is not getting a legendary or a rare. It's tempting to look at the winners, but the winners are not always the same winners. So, long term, I don't know if that model works for all day. I think they need a gate. I do. I just do. I don't know if they do anything like team checklists, but I mean, with all the stuff that we're supposed to have coming, with bids, with pack marketplace, are you kidding me? Edition level bids, that stuff's going to be insane. With the captain programs continuing, with the season, with the challenges. All right, it's about to be live, really, really live. But at the moment, it's just not. It's kind of boring. If you don't want to burn the stuff that you love, it's a little boring. We don't all have that liquidity from a market that isn't really providing it to a ton of people, and we're having to still sort of undercut a little bit. Honestly, yeah, a couple of months ago, this is just a fact based on the numbers, LeBron at $4,000, LeBron TSD at $4,000 would have been a joke. You couldn't have kept that on the market for 2 seconds, 2 minutes would have gone by and somebody would have tried to flip that. Maybe 10 tops, Like, the fact that we're seeing that now, just there for hours, I mean, you got to think about what that means. It means we've fallen a long, long way, and nobody's happy about that. But with what we have coming, I mean, we have to try to keep new users happy. We have to kind of try to keep existing users happy. We have to be able to do both. Janie has said that she recognizes that, AG is about these sort of like, I think AG is a little absolutist. I don't tend to look at things in such an unnuanced way. I tend to think, well, we got to be able to service both of these groups. If we're gonna have scarcity, then we've got to be able to offer new users who don't get a pack something, and that something may be this. And we've had 7/10 of the supply of S1 already. These base packs in particular. There are other S1 packs that we've gotten through challenges and whatnot, but for this set of base set supply that is in these base set packs, these common base set packs, we've had like 6 to 7/10 of the supply already. Interesting one, if you haven't checked this out, is Got Game. The numbers on that in circulation are like 20 to 36% in circulation. Really, really low. So if you ever see Got Game, just be aware of that. I happen to have a DeAndre Jordan Got Game debut which I was able to get a load of this for exactly the same as the DeAndre Jordan debut base set. Which I was like, well, I guess if it's base set debut versus got game debut, I'll take the one that's in a set that people need to collect for a smaller set, right? You know, so I did that. But yeah, stay tuned. I would say that where we're going, there's no reason to be frustrated yet. I understand the promises that we're trying to stare down here. I understand the balancing act. I just hope that they can deliver on the thing that they need to deliver on. Because if they don't, I don't know if the thing that they need to be able to do that has never been done can be done. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't even know if they know, to be honest. I think there were, like, I got so many Janiac comments to unpack. I want to sort of write them all down and go one by one, honestly, you know. But there's so many of those to unpack. I don't know what they're planning on doing now that Squad Goals is done. I hope something. We need to stay entertained for the next month or so. We're addicts. It is what it is, you know. But yeah, stay tuned because we're about to, within a month or so, maybe within 3 weeks, get a sense of whether or how they're planning on delivering on, let me tilt these up a little bit, this great balancing act that we need to be able to do. You know, Roham dropped some very interesting nuggets, and we're going to be able to see if those are just part of the Roham Promise Rainbow or if those are going to be real. So stay tuned. It's about to get about as interesting, I think, as it ever has. We're about to find out what this product can do and if it's got the goods or not. And sometimes I question whether Dapper has the answers or not, and sometimes I don't. This is one of those times where I'm kind of 50-50, if I'm being real with you. I think I'm going to be excited about the roadmap, but I also think I could be nervous about it being either too lofty or not lofty enough. I can't really tell. To be continued. See you around the Top Shot streets, and you know, you stay classy, San Diego and whatnot. And yeah, I'll be around. You know where to find me.